In this lecture, we are going to quickly add a navigation menu to the top bar section of the header. It's going to be easy. Recently, WordPress introduced a block for adding menus. WordPress's menu system is very opinionated. We're going to find out why in a moment. First, let's look at the original code for the menu in our static template. The static menu is simplistic. We have an unordered list element with a class called secondary menu. As long as we can apply this class to the surrounding element, we can consider the transformation a success. Let's give it a try. In the block editor, we are going to insert a new block called navigation. This block should be inserted into the group block of the first row. It'll be the first block in the group. Therefore, position it before the paragraph block. The template is going to temporarily break. That's to be expected. We haven't applied our styles or classes to the menu. Before applying these styles, let's add some links. Generally, WordPress will offer to start with a fresh menu. If you're working on an existing site, you can select a previously made menu. For our case, we're going to start fresh. I'm going to add 3 links. You have the option of adding a custom link or a link to an existing page. To keep it simple, I'm going to add 3 links to existing pages. Feel free to add whatever links you like. During this process, WordPress may accidentally format your text into multiple lines. For our theme, try to adjust the text into a single line. This is not a CSS issue. It's a simple text formatting issue. After inserting your links, let's begin formatting them. Make sure you're focusing on the navigation block. Otherwise, you may be styling the wrong block. On the sidebar, we're going to run through the list of options. Firstly, the mobile option should be turned on. WordPress implements an overlay for viewing a navigation menu. You may not like this behavior. In that case, you will need to create your own mobile menu. However, for our theme, this solution works great. We will leave it enabled. Next, we're going to change the text color. There are options to change the background and submenu colors. Our menu is straightforward. It does not have submenus. Let's set the color Udemy Gray 200. This is the same color as the paragraph block. For consistency, we should use the same colors. Up next, let's modify the block spacing settings. The block spacing option will modify the space between each link. The static template uses 1 rem for spacing. Let's set the spacing to this value. Lastly, we're going to add the secondary menu class for applying properties that can't be modified through the block editor. If you're curious about what properties get added, you can check out the index.css file. We're finished with modifying the menu. Despite these changes, there's still one issue. The paragraph and navigation are not aligned. To understand why, let's save our template. Next, open the home page on the front end. You may be wondering why we are viewing the front end as opposed to the editor. In my opinion, it can be easier to debug a template on the front end. The markup and styles are cleaner on the front than on the editor. For this reason, you may want to have a tab opened for the front end. Believe it or not, the problem is with the paragraph, not the navigation menu. Let's inspect the CSS for the paragraph element. The paragraph element has margins. We've found our culprit. The solution becomes simple. We need to remove these margins to have better alignment. Unfortunately, the paragraph block does not allow users to modify the margin and padding. Luckily, I have a CSS class for modifying the margin. Back in the editor, select the paragraph block from the list view. Afterward, open the advanced panel to change the class. We're going to apply the following class, !MT0. Once again, this is a class from our theme's CSS. It'll set the margin top property to 0. After applying this class, The awkward alignment issue should disappear. The menu and paragraph are perfectly aligned. Let's save our template. Lastly, refresh the front end. The top bar is complete. We were able to recreate the same UI without resorting to the HTML block. By taking the time to convert our static template to blocks, clients will be able to modify the UI more easily. There's one last thing worth mentioning before moving on. Let's inspect the markup for the navigation menu. Almost immediately, you're going to notice something different. The HTML is completely different from our static template. As a reminder, here's the original HTML for the menu. WordPress has added dozens of elements and classes to the menu. During development, you need to ask yourself if it's worth letting WordPress take the wheel. In my opinion, it's worth it as long as the results come out the same. In future lectures, we're not going to be able to recreate the same UI with WordPress. For now, WordPress does an excellent job of creating the same menu. Therefore, we'll let it handle the menu. Let's continue in the next lecture.